Good morning, family. You are watching Executing My Ex's Ministries Transparent Transformational Tuesdays. I am your host, Ashley D, and I am so excited that you decided to tune in with us as we continue to talk about breaking generational curses and bondages. In this particular week, we're going to be really talking about how we ought to break the generational curse when it comes down to educational and career challenges. Now, on this Tuesday, we got to be transparent, right? So if I could be honest, I didn't come from a family that had a lot of our parents and like my aunts and uncles and all of them that really like went to college. Everyone went into the workforce right after high school. It wasn't until my generation where we really like pushed to go to college and build our careers and, learn more about life and just really pivot into, advancing our careers and building a life for the generations behind us. I believe our parents and grandparents just gave us all that they had. They were very smart people. They did push us to go to college because they never went, which I was very grateful for, because at least they knew enough to know that we needed to push past where they didn't get to, and so I'm grateful that they pushed us to go to college and, really said, hey, get everything that you can, get all that I couldn't get. And they would kind of like live vicariously through us, because we pivoted, we decided to push forward into going to school. Some of us went to HBCU school. Some of us, I went to Virginia Wesleyan, and I was privileged to get my bachelor's and my master's, in accounting. And I've been in my accounting career at least for, I want to say at least for maybe like 13 years now. And I'm very grateful for it. But I began to think about all of the challenges that our culture had to go through in order for us to get to this place. If we go back to our forefathers, they didn't have access to education. If we're honest, and when we go back to those times, they may have went all the way up to maybe first, second, or third grade before they came out of school, where they had to get, jobs and work out in the fields or work out in the houses to be maids in order to help along with the family, in order to help with the upkeep of the family. And, they worked and they marched very hard for us to have access to education. They, worked extremely hard to break those barriers for us to get what they could not get, because, everybody was trying to keep us from getting the proper education, the proper health care, all of the things that they were getting. And so, our forefathers worked extremely hard. They marched and died to make sure our generations could actually have access to education and be able to build a career and to build a life that they could not have. And so today I want to encourage you that, if you didn't come from a family that didn't, push forward into getting, education, doesn't mean that you can't have it. You can push forward into going to college or, going into a trade school to get the certifications that you need in order to build your life and to build your career, not just for yourself, for the generations after you. You don't have to limit yourself to what your forefathers didn't get. You don't have to stop at just being in the workforce, but you can actually be more and everything that you want to be. It is within your reach. Now you can immediately say, Ashley, child, I'm not going to school because it's expensive. Listen, I understand, okay? But that is what grants are for. That is what scholarships are for. That is what, there's so many things out here that we can get in order to be able to get the education that we need so we can begin our career, so we can pivot and build a life for ourselves. So there's no excuses. Don't self-sabotage. We talked about that last week. Don't start thinking negatively. Don't begin to self-sabotage yourself from becoming better because of all of the risks and the challenges that you will face. But let's pivot into purpose. Let's get everything that we possibly can get in order to build a better life for ourselves. One of the things that my dad said to me well, one of the things he used to always say to me growing up was that as long as you got Jesus and education, you can go no wrong. You can always succeed in this life. And even when I got my MBA, one of the things he said to me coming out of the graduation was, now you got your MBA. It's time to stop flying with the birds and begin to soar with the eagles. You know, one of the reasons why that we have an issue with soaring with the eagles is because we keep surrounding ourselves with birds. We continue to surround ourselves with people who are not trying to do better, who are okay with settling for mediocrity. You know, they're okay with just settling for, you know, working paycheck to paycheck, not building, you know, a life for themselves. It takes more than one income nowadays to even survive, you know, so they're not interested in building a future and building a life for themselves and for, you know, the generations behind them. They're just looking to make it from day to day. But you have to stop hanging with the birds and begin to soar with the eagles. And, you know, when you begin to soar with the eagles, you know, they're all for advancement. They're all for pivoting into purpose and pivoting into their career and building a life. So today, I want to encourage you to don't limit yourself to what you see, where you come from, but begin to push yourself forward into, there's so many different things in this life. There's so many different things that we can be. And if it wasn't for our grandparents, great grandparents, and everyone before them, for them, their blood, sweat, and tears, for them dying and marching for us to have access to these things, if it wasn't for them, we would not have it. So take advantage of everything that they fought for us to have. Don't let it go to waste because they reached a certain point and they didn't go beyond that point. They marched and they fought and they died for us to have it, and for all the generations behind them to achieve everything that they possibly can in this life. So today, I want you to break these chains when it comes down to your education and career challenges that you face, and begin to soar with the eagles. Begin to soar into purpose, soar into all of the things, all of your hopes and your dreams and aspirations. They are reachable. You just got to open your mind and trust God to give you strategy and to give you insight to how to achieve them, and especially as long as it's in alignment with what He has for your life. But it's within your reach. Don't limit yourself because your parents and everybody before you didn't get there. It's up to you to be that chain breaker. It's up to you to take the baton and run with it and go as far as you can as long as you're on this earth. So today, I want you to break the chain when it comes down to your education and career challenge. You can be, you can have, you can become, but you got to be focused. You got to open your mind to those new possibilities. You got to be willing to put in the work that you need to put in order to achieve those goals, those dreams, and those aspirations. But don't allow where you come from to determine your future, because you can have a better life. You can be, you can become. You are great. You are everything that God wants you to be. And if we could just tap into how God looks at us, and we could just tap into all of the things that we have access to, we can build the life that we dream of and that we want to reach, not just for ourselves, but for the generations behind us. So I hope something was said to encourage you on this beautiful Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in to Executing My Essence Ministries Transparent Transformational Tuesday. I am your host, Ashley D, and I see you again tomorrow for Worship Wednesday. God bless you.